went out and started a consulting business, initially by myself and then hooking up with Dick Henley of epithermal mineral deposit fame. And really very early in that process, we were both arrogant enough to question the way people did things in exploration and why certain decisions were made or not made in the progress of exploration projects that we were consulting on. And from there, Dick Henley initially started to do a bit of reading around the idea of quantification of risk, and came across a wide range of literature on that. But very quickly we both realised that this had been applied for 20 or 30 years in the oil industry, and that's really where we started. And we built some tools in what was then EHW, the consulting business.
By that time then Williams had joined you?
Peter Williams, yeah, the W. And then that in 1997 became SRK in Australia.
And Peter is still with SRK, is that right?
Yes, he is, that's right. And SRK still uses a lot of the basic principles and tools in its valuation methodology for exploration projects.
Some of which has been published a couple of times in the SCG newsletter over the last decade.
SCG newsletter and...
Deborah Lord and
yep,
co-authors, including yourself.
By Oliver Kreutzer,
yep,
in economic geology. When I left SRK with the intention of participating more closely in the industry, mainly as a company director, I was able to, I wanted to really get more data and pursue some lines of research that I hadn't had time to do in a consulting business. And so I had a loose attachment at Macquarie University in Sydney, and they were good enough to give me some space and a bit of seed money to get a project up, and I had 9 exploration and mining companies put in about $500,000 and hired a couple of people, and we did some research for 2 or 3 years. And that was, the results of that are partly published and partly not, because I'm being a bit slack, but yeah, so that's really where some of the more specific and detailed work around 3 main things. One was can you actually use traditional risk management tools like decision trees in a meaningful way in our business? And the decision tree stuff was published by Oliver Kreutzer in economic geology. In other words, can you rank projects and make better decisions by using a more formal probabilistic approach? The second line was what can we learn by looking back at the way the industry's behaved in the past and learn from that. And that was probably the least successful part of that research. And the third, and I think most interesting part for me, and I think for the industry, was I worked with a psychologist at Macquarie University, Colin Mostel, on the psychology of decision-making under uncertainty. It became clear when you read the broader literature around how the human mind works in times or when faced with having to make a decision in a highly risky or highly uncertain environment, that there are certain patterns of behaviour which are not rational. And so we tend to make less rational decisions the more risk or uncertainty is involved. And we work in one of the riskiest and most uncertain businesses. And so we were looking at how you might, first of all, demonstrate this to the industry, and secondly, think of some ways of maybe dealing with it.